Hello, my name is Alan. My pronouns are he, him, and this evening in my time, we are meeting for the finale of a short series of my game in preparation, Eotenweard, of Dark Age heroes protecting the innocent from a rising darkness. Um, you want to know more about that? Go back to session one and the longer intro. This game was organized as part of the Open Hearth gaming community. You want to know more about Open Hearth? Then search Open Hearth and come play with us because we think our table culture is to be admired and emulated. Um, we are playing with safety rules. Again, go back to session one if you want to know more about that. All of these players are familiar with those safety rules, safety tools. Um, and the key question today is, can I hit in our finale our remaining interested in? That may be a tough ask given the setup, but you never know your luck. So last time we finished with broadly defining the village of Cefnwahl, a pagan Celtic British settlement in the marshes around the origin of the Humber in northern Britain, 200 years after Rome left. And so far we have, as signs and portents, the themes that the characters began to identify at a distance. The locality smells of unpleasantly decaying plant life. Something is wrong here. Uh, a feeling of unease that reminds Branwen of the time when they woke up under a stone slab before the stone slab they were buried under and rose as a spirit. And Kenred said, marsh animals all over the village, but no people, but discarded clothing everywhere. So that is our setup as the characters head down towards the settlement, which I have to say is sitting behind Paul, looking remarkably true to life. So the shadows manifest. I'm going to suggest that we set this during the afternoon, somewhere in the village as they make their way to the hall to announce their arrival. Now, in the absence of people, it seems to me that having you enter the village and look about you would seem the most logical place to set this kickoff. Then the face asks them to agree what form the inciting incident takes. There's a heated conversation between NPCs. An interesting choice in the circumstances. But, don't let me put you off that. Something supernatural occurs. Someone or something makes a surprise or unexpected entrance or arrival, or something even more flavorful or interesting happens. Does anyone have strong views? Because your camera is off, I never know whether you're looking at me in an interested manner. So I'm going to come to you first.
Yeah, I mean, we came here because of Gwilog's urging, and we know that there was something sort of mystically wrong, off, some problem in the area. So my knee jerk is something supernatural happens.
Okay. Willog, what do you think about that?
I think that's a fine choice. I mean, given a Celtic mystic, I think yeah, something supernatural sounds right up Gwilog's alley.
And Xena, Paul, what do Branwen and Black Kenred think on that? Are you content with something supernatural?
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds good.
So Xena, in Branwen's case, the fates will ask a hero what they feel, another what they hear, and finally ask another what they see that confirms the presence of the supernatural. So do you want to feel, hear, or see?
Hmm. Um, Feel, I think.
Okay. What does Branwen feel?
But what does Brandon feel is the question. Um, I don't know. I think so it's this as we are walking
Yeah,
into the village already.
you've crossed the boundary, you're in the village, you're surrounded by these a variety of wild and domestic animals, and there are items of clothing located across the village, apparently discarded.
Yeah, so I think Branwen feels an unnatural sense of pressure all around them, which is rather weird since they are kind of incorporeal, but that's why it feels even more remarkable, I guess, because it's been a while since then. And it just feels like they're being compressed on all sides. Not really, but
Hmm. Yeah, no,
Um,
that sometimes the
and
way that you can feel
yeah, I
that
think
pressure on you in advance of a thunderstorm, that kind of heaviness that you sometimes feel in the air. Is that familiar?
yeah, maybe something like that. But I think it just feels even more physical, you know,
Which is weird. I suppose
like as
you
if
are
you're
in your
underneath.
current seeming, so maybe it is, but it's a spiritual heaviness.
Hmm.
Okay. Kenred, we've used up feel, see or hear.
Here,
What?
distant pipe playing, the sort of bog direction.
Well, I suppose given that we're in the northern marshes here, the bog is all around you. This is a raised, this is a welcome piece of mostly dry land
And
surrounded by
from the other
bog.
side of the village, so us, village, bog.
Fine.
And
Pipes
just for
playing.
me,
Oh,
is that more like bagpipes or more like tin whistle or panpipe?
More of a sort of a panpipe, wood pipe,
Okay.
definitely not bagpipe.
and finally, Gwilog, what do you see? And I suppose apart from the fact that there are no people, lots of piles of clothes and animals, but what do you see that hints at the supernatural here?
Um, I was thinking, you know, what I see is that so we have piles of clothes, and we see that some of the marsh animals um, are actually we've seen a couple carrying small items of clothing and putting them on the piles, right? Maybe suggesting that, right, that they themselves created the piles for some reason.
Okay, which is odd behavior, no question. Okay, so what do you do? T, what? Let's start with Kerry. What's Kerry's response to all of this seeing, hearing, and feeling?
Yeah. I don't think Carrie is sensible to the uh metaphysical pressure necessarily. Um, but I do think, he's a curious fellow, and will I mean, it looks like the animals are doing a job, right? It's only polite to help. So I think we'll go down to the village and find some clothes and put them in a pile.
So look for one of the animals as it drags. Maybe this is a rabbit. I'm not. Yeah, let's broaden it from just marsh animals because that will be a very kind of thin cast. So maybe a rabbit is you see it dragging a tunic towards this pile. Do you help the rabbit or do you go for a different item and add it to the same pile the rabbit is aiming for?
I think he finds like a sock, and will politely follow behind the rabbit. Also, do y'all
Okay.
not have swamp rabbits? Is that a North American thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
We don't really have swamps in the UK. We
No, exactly.
drained them a long time ago.
Kenred, given what you see and hear and feel, or Branwyn reports feeling, what do you do?
I would I would like to sort of go through the village to the sort of side of the bog and see what I can see out in the bog direction.
Sounds like look about you to me.
It does.
So roll plus sense, unless you want to rely on an intervention of some description.
Uh, no, I'm happy to roll with sense. I'm only numbering it and thinking I probably couldn't get the full XP bar in just this session, so I'm okay. +2. I rolled, lucky, a 3 and a 2. 5 plus 2, 7.
Close run thing. So on a 7, yeah, shall I ask you or shall I tell you? Tells you something relevant. Yeah, I think I would tell you something relevant. I think that I will confirm to you that that the stink from that bog is gut churning now that you've walked up to the edge of it. I think there's no question that if you went any closer to it, you would, or try to make your way into it, you would begin to retch horribly, and that is likely to place you at disadvantage. Fair at this point?
There at this point.
What about Gwilog? Because it's not his home village, but this is a village like the one that he was born into. Maybe a smaller version of this is the place where he was apprenticed and worked to master the arts of mysticism. What does Gwilog do?
I mean, Gulag had noticed the odd behavior of the animals, and I think what Gulag is gonna try to do is to invoke my gift to try to communicate on some level with the animals to see if he can figure out what this behavior is about.
So communicate with someone or something without words is how I'm interpreting that. So yeah,
Yes.
let's have you roll with your favor.
And my favor is +1 right now. So keep my fingers crossed here. Oh, 6 and a 5 is an 11. +1 is 12.
Well, that frankly feels just like cheating. But yes. So invoke your gift. You are going to be able to communicate. Do you want to pick a type of animal? Because that might be relevant. Carnivore, herbivore?
Maybe a I mean, this goes back to kind of previously. Maybe there is a kind of crow that is in the engaged in this odd clothing collection activity. And crows
Okay.
are pretty, I think, are, as birds go, pretty smart. And
Apparently.
they can fly, so they can see around quite a bit, right? Which would be helpful.
So you communicate with the crow. It will cost you a point of favor. But on 10 plus, pick one. Your gift has greater impact, scope, scale, or duration than even you had hoped, or you're somehow placed at an advantage relative to them, or your patron is magnanimous and refuses the favor you sacrificed.
Favor is always useful, but I think I mean I like the idea of greater um I think greater clarity to the communication, because I think often with the animals it's kind of vague, but I like the idea, like I'll go in and keep the favor off if I can get um a a more kind of clear kind of communication with
Uh,
this
and
crow.
this crow drops the item of clothing that it was just hop flapping across the village, and perches on a post, so it's not far off head height relative to you, and cocks its head at you. What do you want to do? What form does this communication take? What do you want to say? What do you want to know? What do you want to do?
Um, I think what I want to know is I think there obviously were once people like us here. Um, what that, what was what was their fate? Like what, these clothes that are being gathered, you know, where are the people that those clothes originally belonged to, right?
Let's I think the first thing it will say or communicate to you, because I'm assuming that this allows you to interpret its squawking. Um, and I'm curious, I suppose, how that looks on screen. Does it squawk? Do you repeat what it said? Do we get a subtitle?
Yeah, I think the way that this appears is
Or have they
when
lip synced the crow?
yeah um yeah, I think there's something to that, and I will then vocalize what I understand the crow to be saying, and the crow, you know, either nods or kind of shakes its beak to say no, that you don't quite have it. So, you see it's not not the most perfect form of communication, but
Mhm.
at least, right, the crow is able to kind of gather what I'm interpreting to give me some indication of how clearly I am in getting this correct.
Well, I think what it says is, it's catching. Take care.
It's catching. Um,
Now, you want any more out of it? I think that you need to convince it or face a challenge to interrogate it some more, because it is still an animal.
mhm.
So I think probably face a challenge makes some sense.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
and I think this is probably going to be sense,
Hmm.
because you're needing to interpret what it's saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
let's have you roll plus sense to face the challenge of help understanding the crow.
All right. And I have 2 cents. So I rolled a 6, so 8 is what I will get with that.
You succeed, but the fate picks one. Uh, this is taking quite a long while, so I'm going to cut away from you
Hmm.
while I ask Branwen what Branwen is doing as Gwilog attempts to interrogate a crow.
I think Branwen will go and look about those huts and see what they can find in there.
Yeah, yeah. So let's have you roll plus sense.
Hmm. Doo-doo-doo. Where are we? Here. Ah,
Oh, we seem to be picking up where we left off.
indeed. It is what do I even have in cents? It's just 5 in total
Okay,
with
well,
my
I tell you
plus two
what,
cents.
I will mark shade Now
Great.
you arrived here with the shade track sitting at dismal. You've just edged into dreary. At which point, manifest the darkness. Oh yes, of course we'll manifest the darkness. Um, you push your way. You make your way. You look into several huts. It's clearly that some of the stuff has been disturbed by animals. And maybe as you've been wandering about the village, you notice that sometimes some items have been placed with these pieces of clothing.
Hmm.
Um, uh, but there is a blanket in the corner of this room, um, with something underneath it squirming.
Great. Um, I
What
guess
do you
I will
do?
take a peek. I will probably go and
Okay,
lift it ever so gingerly.
let's have you face the challenge to see its reaction to you is.
Fantastic. With what?
Well, I think it's probably either. Um, I think it's either sense to kind of take care or steal to do it really quickly.
Let's go with sense, given my
Okay.
track record of rolling. Not that it helped
So
me.
it's more standing at a distance and pulling it gently away.
Yes. Okay, this time we've got an 8.
Okay, well that's not so bad, is it? So what do you do when this larger than typical swamp snake, bog snake, not as big as that drake that you encountered a session or two ago, but this is a large 8 or 10 foot long, built like a boa constrictor, and the jaws come straight at you. You throw yourself back away from them because on a 8 you mark harm. So
Mhm.
whether that is physical harm or just shock, I don't know, but mark wearied. Um,
Um, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Um, but you succeed in identifying um, something very strange. Um, there are 2 feet, human feet, at the bottom of this thing's tail.
I mean, so I'm supposed to mark wearied, is that correct? Yeah. I'm
Yes.
wondering if I should go translucent, but maybe not.
Oh, by all means. That's
No, because on a fail, I mark even more, so I may as well just take the one.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, you're playing your dice percentages here. Yes.
well, if it was a higher, anyway, yeah. So, I mean, my immediate reaction was to try and like hit it with my axe, but maybe if I see the feet, I'm a little bit more sort of like taken aback and just, how do you say that? Fade back out of there.
Just leave the room. Yeah.
Just,
Okay. Whoa.
yes.
Do you? I mean, is this calmly done, or is there a sense of shouting to any of the others? You need to see this. I'm just curious. Or are you keeping
Um,
your cool?
I think, well, no, I think it'll be like, it'll be one of those snake. And, while I'm passing through. So, um, yeah, and they go like, there's a snake in there and it has feet. Yeah.
Harry, you hear Cena, you see her emerge, backwards, stumbling slightly backwards out of this hut, saying, "There's a snake and it's got feet." What do you do, Kerry?
I think Carrie will toss the shoe on the pile that they were carrying and give Brandwin a pitying look and shake his head, and she says, "Lizard."
Fantastic. No,
Uh,
I mean, it's got human feet.
And I think that that does strike Carrie as odd, and in I don't know, maybe slightly animal way herself. Her head cocks one direction and then the other direction, and I think it's time for Carrie to invoke their gift.
Which
Let's
is
see.
the sight, isn't it?
Yes, your patron may.
Sometimes shows you things that cannot be seen and may be
Mhm.
best left unseen. Okay, let's have you invoke your gift. Roll plus favor.
I'll spend the favor. Well, I guess I should roll first and then decide if I actually need to spend it. And that is 7 plus 3, 10.
You do need to spend it, but that's as good as it gets. So, you could, on a 10 plus, your patron may say, no, it's fine. Or do you want scale, duration, impact, or scope, or to gain advantage from what
I
I'm
think
going to tell you?
I'll take advantage and spend the favor. So I think Carrie will, seeing that Branwen is distressed and not just confused by lizards, which it happens. Listen, we've all been there. Will stand up and make his way over to her.
When you invoke the sight, uh, the head of the snake emerges from behind the kind of blanket that acts as a door to this hut, this round hut, and it is sinuously coming out. It must be probably the thickness of your thigh around, and as I say, 10, 15 feet long. And I'm kind of assuming Branwen will just keep their distance. As Kerry, it's a naked man crawling out of that hut, squirming out, dragging himself along on his hands and legs. What do you do, Kerry?
I think Carrie will look at this man, look at Branwen.
I swear it was a snake just before.
No, Branwen,
I'm
you're
interpreting that it
still
still
seeing
looks like a snake to you.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
still seeing a
Yeah.
snake. Great.
Look at this human man. Look at Branwen. Look at this human man. And then to the human man, we'll say, hello.
No response. Notices you said that it looks at you, but he's still, focused on Branwen is the sense you get. Kenred, having backed away from that boundary of the village and the stink that comes in from the bog, what do we see you doing?
I would like to try and triangulate where this sound is coming from. So move down the line of the village to try and. Is it stinking or is it unpredictable?
I think it's going to be unpredictable.
Okay.
It's you move down away because the bog goes round three sides of this village, and over there was where the stink is coming from. But as you head around, that it's that noise, that piping, it doesn't seem to get closer, but you think it's clearer.
Good enough for me.
Yeah.
And I will shout out over to the others. I think the sound's coming from here.
Gwilog, you have been talking to a crow for some little time while these events have gone on, and you're about to be disturbed by Branwen's shout of snake. But what do you want to know? Oh, you are muted.
I guess I want a little added clarity on it said it is catching, take care. Want to know like what is catching? Is
It
is it
flaps its wings and says, "This is catching."
and and I guess, so Kenred is hearing the pipes,
Yeah.
right, in the distance. Um, I guess maybe I'll ask it, is that catching, right, and point to the piping noise in that
Pipes,
direction.
pipes, yes, pipes, pipes.
And are the pipes dangerous?
Um, Catching, catching, pipes, pipes, catching this, pipes, pipes. And then I think you're probably going to be disturbed by shouts of snake, and the crow kind of off it goes, frightened by Branwen's cries. Um, Kerry, um, you have advantage relative to this crawling man slash almost snake. Um, what do you do?
Yeah. So you mentioned that he seems particularly focused on Branwen.
Yeah,
Um, would you say he seems like does his posture seem threatening towards them?
I mean, from you through your sight shows him squirming across the ground,
Hmm.
which does not look very threatening as a human. But Branwen, from where you're standing, this large boa constrictor like snake is making a beeline for you sinuously, dragging these 2 feet.
So I think given that, I think Carrie's instinct is going to be to try and calm Branwen, because they seem pretty upset. She'll go over and give you a little um, pat on the shoulder and say, "No scales, no tails."
And
Will point
go
at
on.
the human man. I don't know what's up with Branwen, but this fellow doesn't seem to be liable to do too many harm.
And I think Brandon will just look at Carrie and look back again, and then go, "What? You don't see the snake right there?"
And
While moving
that's
backwards.
when the sight gives out because you
Hmm.
didn't ask for duration. And indeed, there is this snake with these human feet dragging along behind. Gwilog, you heard Branwen shout snake. You can see them examine it, kind of together looking at this thing on the ground. What, if anything, do you do? Well, you are muted again.
Yeah, with the shouting and with the crow taking off, I think I will turn back and scurry over to Branwen and Carrie. And what do I see? I mean,
You
what do I?
see a snake with the tail, um, well, have the feet turned into a snake, or is the snake turning into feet? It's a difficult question because what you notice now that you come to look carefully at it is um, the scales of the snake become slightly more less concentrated, and the mottled grey of the skin of the snake skin begins to look more like human flesh. And you could identify one ankle and the bottom half of 2 feet, but the scales are beginning to encroach on the feet or retreat from them.
Mhm.
That's what you see.
Um, yeah, so I think what Gwilog does is says the crow has warned us to take care, and this does not look like anything normal. And Gwilog we'll try to get. Does the snake look like it's making its way to Branwen?
Yes. And I think probably, unless you tell me otherwise, Branwen, you and Kerry have been backing away just to keep your distance from it as this conversation, these observations are going on.
So I think Gwilog with that, Gwilog will try to get the attention of the snake
Okay.
to try to kind of take get Branwen and Carrie perhaps a little room if they need to.
How does he do this?
Um, I think Gwilog picks up their staff and makes himself as big and a lot of movement and hissing. Right.
And kind of goes in front of Branwen and then goes away to one side.
Yes.
Um, uh, I like that. So let's have you roll plus steel for your physical capacity to get its attention. Unless you want to go with, do I want to give you a choice? No, I think I want you to roll with steel.
Okay. Which is one I have for steel. Here we go. Oh my goodness. That was an 11 plus 1 is 12.
Well, that goes terribly well. 10 plus. You have advantage relative to it, or is your patron sufficiently impressed to grant you a favor?
Yeah, I think that I'll take the favor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think the option of the NPC's faction owing you a debt makes much sense in this context.
Right.
So and it's diverged from Branwen. It's now more focused on you. Kenred, you've said, "Oi, come here," but they're clearly fixated with something 50 yards away.
Hmm. Well, I'll wander over in their direction and see what could be quite so interesting.
Well, what is quite so interesting is a snake with feet. Um, Branwen, you've seen this more. You discovered this, and you've been observing it ever since without using the sight. Um, and you're not sure if those scales are not gradually encroaching on what's left of these feet.
Hmm.
You're sure that there were two ankles, but now it looks like those ankles are kind of getting bound together, and scales are definitely beginning to grow over these. And the feet are pointed. They are what's the word, extended.
I think, speaking of my gift, I think I would like to invoke my gift to receive
Okay.
sights or sounds. Not,
Sights or
I mean, I
sounds?
guess not to places normally denied me. I would hope that I could interpret it as from people or creatures normally denied me.
Um, well, yeah, I'm going to put you at a disadvantage because I think
Ah,
that's stretching the because it does say to places normally denied you. So I'm prepared to stretch it, but at disadvantage.
okay. I guess I'm gonna try anyway.
Okay, roll 3 dice, take the bottom two, plus favor to invoke it.
Hmm. Oh, well, that's a
Boxcars.
15.
So that will cost you one favor for the success of the
Oh,
invocation. Um, I mean, that's remarkable. All 3 6s. I mean, you might want to save one of those for later, but uh, that goes beautifully. What do you want to see or hear?
I think I want to be able to communicate with this creature. Like, what are you? What is happening to you?
Yes, okay. I think on boxcars plus 3, I can hardly be petty here. So I think it there's this kind of sibilant hissing, but in the hissing you can hear a whispered human voice, and the voice says, Help me, help me,
Ow.
help me. Well, if uh, 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 noises, musician, uh, and the head kind of comes up off the ground and kind of surveys the village. Catching plague.
Plague? All right. Well, there we go. Do I get to pick one other thing because
You
it's a 10
do.
plus?
You do. What would you like?
Now the question is, should I I'm wondering if I should have if it should have a greater scope, my gift, or
Oh, like what?
scope, scale, what is the difference?
Scope would be affecting different things. Scale would be having a bigger effect
Right.
in my mind's eye.
Or do I want to? Yeah, I think I'm going to go for more scale.
Okay.
In the hopes that he will tell me some more.
We musician, visitor, he played wonderful music. We went to bed that night feeling wonderful. And then the following day, the changes started.
Okay.
And first one, then a family, then a family that they were close to, catching this thing that has happened to me, to us. Help us.
We will try.
Does that feel like that gives you a
Yeah.
decent response to your question?
I think so. I think so, yeah.
I
guess I will relay this.
So I think Kenred has come back. The four of you are together. There has to be at least one insight in this, it seems to me. So, Branwen, you were the first person to discover this transformation going on. Gwilog was kind of getting triangulation on that. So, is there an insight that you want to describe here?
Yeah, let me think about the wording. Musical mutation? I don't know.
Ooh, I like that.
Musical mutation. It has a nice scan to it, so Kerry is very keen.
Musical metamorphosis. Anyway,
Oh,
there we go.
metamorphosis. Oh, musical metamorphosis. Right, we've got a Kafkaesque connection established already. Gwilog, you got some sense of that from the crow, but it is, I think, Kenred who was interested in the bog. Kenred, is there anything you want to describe in terms of an insight?
It started in the bog.
Started in the bog. And I'm looking for any occasion to say bog after Zena said that the sound of bog is a wonderful. I gotta love the sound of the word bog. So we will use bog a lot. I'm going to suggest at that point that we take our first break, and we make it a long one so I can make some tea. And shall we be back in our seats on the hour?
Sounds good.
See you then. So, we've got insights into a musical metamorphosis, and whatever it was, it started in the bog. So I guess my question to you collectively is, what are you going to do? Ah, there we are. Swamp rabbits are only native to the US South and the Gulf Coast. Yeah, swamp rabbit was not a phrase I was familiar with, but who knows what it was like here 1,000 years ago.
Has this guy fully transformed into a snake now?
He is continuing to transform.
Oh, that's a shame. That could have been worth some money, that could. Half man, half snake. Could have bagged him up and sold him.
We did meet those entertainers last time.
So, what are you going to do about this? I think it's become pretty clear what's happened. I suppose my question is, what are you going to do?
I think we need to find the source of this music, indeed.
Well, I mean, I think we're at risk. So, we need to close this down quickly. If not, we could end up like him, like them.
Maybe we can fashion something to plug up our ears.
Good idea.
Well, I mean, you've got some scope. 3 more on the shade track, and we will arrive at threaten the heroes. So let's see how the next section goes. So, stench, stinking bog, music, unpredictable bog.
I like the unpredictability.
So go to where you think you can hear the music coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who's going to take the lead? Now, I will tell you that when you come to the edge of the village and you're looking out over this area of the bog, it becomes clear to you all that the challenge you face here is that there appear to be some areas of reasonably solid ground. But then as you're watching, a bubble of gas kind of rises to the surface and bursts, meaning that what seemed to be solid ground now isn't. That is the unpredictable nature of this area of the bog. So there's the appearance of solid ground, but...
And I think the last time we sort of had to quickly go across a swamp, Carrie did so quite successfully. And so I think, they'll step forward, set their shoulders. It seems like Black Kenred is suggesting that we go after this Piper, and we'll sort of nod and say, wrong song, and just run immediately into the bog, poking around with their stick.
Well,
and I'm going to use
running and poking. Running and poking. Is this pole vaulting from what appears to be one area of solid ground to what you hope is not going to be one that disappears in a bubble?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So running and then using the stick to kind of to vault across. Shouting over your shoulder, "There's follow me." So this sounds like steel to me.
I would agree. And I'm going to use that advantage that I still haven't yet.
Okay.
And that will be a 12.
Well, that goes very well, doesn't it? You find yourself perhaps 100 paces, maybe 150 paces out in this bog. You have avoided, several times. Well, tell me how close you come to this, Kerry. Is there a point where you're about to kind of put your stick into the ground and launch yourself forward, and suddenly the ground in front of you kind of erupts as a bubble of fetid gas erupts, and you have to divert? What makes this trip across dramatic?
Yeah, I think probably the most dramatic moment is Carrie goes to stick her stick in the mud to take the next vault, and it turns out that it's just water. And she starts to stumble, throws herself back, and it looks like the behind them is just like a pool, who knows how deep. But as his foot hits, it stops almost immediately, and it seems as if there was a little rock ledge underneath there that was hidden by the still murky water. And Carrie will sort of look back at the rest of you and give you a sort of a spaniel-y kind of grin, uh, and turn and continue on.
And on a 10 plus, you arrive in the center of this bog, or this area of bog with advantage. Um, and here I think I can tell you that in terms of discovering an insight here, some clue related to events, um, the ground is uncertain all around you. That's undoubtedly one of the challenges. Um, but it's as if just over there uh, is where the sound is coming from. It just seems to want you to just go a little further. What do you do, and who's going to do it? Because you thought that you'd got to the center of this area and that seemed to be where it should be coming from. But now it's just another 20 paces on. And vapor is rising over the bog. So it's not, you can't see anybody there. You can't see where this sound is coming from.
I think
Gwillog,
Carrie is panting and exhausted and not fit to continue to lead.
Gwillog, what are you thinking? Oh, you are muted.
Yeah, I think Gwilog might seek some mystical insight here. Um, with my gift, since it always seems like it's some other place than where we are, and I have with my gift, if it goes well, I can see another place at the same time. um, Observe another place at the same time, and that might be useful to not only see what we have around us immediately, but also then project some type of sight to where that sound is now coming from, even though I'm not there.
Well, you don't need a miracle or wonder for this because we have a move for location place.
Okay.
So but it is going to be using your favor. So you're going
Uh-huh.
to be rolling with favor
Uh-huh.
to find where this is coming from, and avoid the potential threat
Mhm.
that lurks here. Yeah, the threat, that which tempts.
Okay. And this is with favor.
With favor.
Okay. Just +1 right now, so we will see. I rolled an 11. We seem to be doing very well with our.
Exactly. I mean, it's a bit of a change from last time.
Yeah. Well,
It must be you.
yes, maybe, but it's also always feel like it's just setting up the time when suddenly everything is the opposite extreme.
That will cost you a favor. Every time you succeed, usually with a roll with favor, it costs you one. But on
Mhm.
task, nothing stands in your way. What insight do you gain when you arrive at what appears to be the origin of this sound? There is nothing there unless you make the insight something.
Um, I think that the insight that we gain is um, the insight is that there's a kind of ventriloquism that's going on here with the sound being thrown, but that the insight is that we catch a glimmer um, in the distance of where what's what I would take to be the true origin. There's a kind of supernatural um, glamour that I'm able to pick up on to say, oh, it may sound here, but it's being projected from
over there.
that glamour. Yes.
And I've just put sounds being thrown. And now that you are here, the sense that you get, and I think Kenred will agree with this, is that it's being thrown from that bit of bog over there, which is where the stench is coming
Damn
from.
the stinking bog.
So there's no escape from entering the stinking bog, it appears. Ripe pipes, says Kerry.
Well, we all know about ripe pipes.
Time to don some bandanas.
So what are you going to do? Because yeah, it appears to be now you know it's not here. It's coming from over there. And there's something about the way that this mist rose over the unstable bog, area of bog, that it's almost like it's flowing from that other area of stinking stench. What do you do? Branwen?
I think first of all, Brandon will offer everyone like some little sacks of herbs to possibly wrap over their face with, several people have cloaks, etc. I'm sure they can figure it out. And yeah, we'll do the same. I don't know. Do I smell things? I think I do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. When you're in your seeming, I think
Yeah.
you have normal human senses.
I
Um,
think
it sounds like Branwen has volunteered to lead the way from where you are to where they think you should be. Um, and the idea of using a tool like this, a mask, maybe cooperating with Gwilog as he plucks some of his herbs and flowers from his robe to go into your little bags. This sounds like a really clever, cunning ploy. So, Branwen, do you want to roll with subtle for this
sure.
subtle plan?
Sure. Just +1. Okay, let's see.
To make your way without everyone having to start retching?
Well, it's 7 + 1 and 8.
8. 7 plus you manage the risk and avoid the consequence. On 7 to 9, the Fates describes the cost of your success. I think I would have you all mark some harm doing it. You're not disadvantaged by being out here, but I think, it is pretty unpleasant. Stinging eyes, the masks, the bags of herbs help. But yeah, I think everyone can mark some harm. So if you're not already wearied, you now are. And if you are wearied, you're now wounded. But you've made your way out into the middle of this stinking bog. And here it's clear that where these bubbles are erupting out of the bog, that's where the stench is coming from, I think. That which tempts you continues to tempt you. It's not right here. It's over there. Who wants to lead the way to over there? Kenred, you were the first person to identify the stench of the bog. I'm wondering if you want to step up to take the lead on this.
No, but I will volunteer a man that knows swamps like the back of his hand.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is Gwilog's territory, and he did see the glamour too, right? That kind of was tipping him off.
Definitely your experience is required in this situation, Gwilog.
Mhm.
So how are you going to get from here to just over there? Because it's very clear now this sound is coming from over there.
Mhm.
What do we see you doing?
Um, I I think I mean Gwilog grew up in this kind of environment, and I kind of knows that in the bog all is not as it seems. Right? What seems like it's watery. There might be land underneath where there seems like there. So I think just Gwilog is kind of looking to the left and the right, taking stock very quickly of the layout, and then also is very well aware that sometimes a quick light foot is the best. Right, you can get in trouble in the bog if you're just like standing somewhere and you sink in. And
And I
so,
think that's illustrated as we cut back to Kenred, who's looking down at his feet. Gradually, water is beginning to lap over his boots.
yeah, and I think Willog, says, I think I can see um, a zigzag path to where we need to go, but we must be quick and fleet.
Now, you can either use steel for that fleetness or sense for spotting where to be fleet.
Yeah, I think it would be sense sounds like the route. Um, so we re-roll. We'll see if we continue on our trend. That's not too bad. 9 plus 2, which gives us an 11.
Nothing stands in your way. What insight do you gain? Um, I think I'd like to tell you what you find, if you're okay with that.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, you reach the point, and the that pipe music is clearly coming from here. You feel like you're in the center of it. Um, but the soft ground at your feet, it feels like there's something solid down there, Gwilog, or more solid than bog. What do you do?
Yeah, I think takes right when he gets there, he takes the staff and starts really forcefully. He says, there's something underneath us, and looks back and says, can you feel it? Right. And he's trying to kind of tap it around to kind of get a sense of like what is this? What is the area that it's this solid area covers?
I would have said that it's only maybe a meter across, but it's not a flat plate. That's there's some object down there,
Mhm.
and I think that's when Kenred, because Kenred directed this task to you, and so I think took the view that the closer he could be to you, the safer he would be, and so Kenred arrives at the same spot, followed by Kerry and Branwen.
Does
But
it
yeah,
sound hollow?
no, yeah, it's kind of splitch, 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 splitch. So it's
Can't really.
driving. Difficult to say. There's something down there though, and not very far down.
I'll get my hands and start pulling back the sod.
I think it's more about pushing your hands into the matted, uh, you know, uh, roots and rotting plants, and getting close to the stench, Kenred, and reaching down, and you feel there's something. Maybe it's fabric. Maybe it's difficult to say, but there's something down there, leathery, that you can get a hand on, and then two hands on. What do you do, Kenred?
I will turn to my colleagues and say, pull me up, and I'll grab this thing as hard as I can.
And they
And
pull on you.
yeah,
And there's resistance and resistance, and then without you fall on your back. You're pulled over with a corpse lying on top of you.
Amazing.
Leathery, preserved is what I want to say.
so it's a corpse, not a corpse in a bag.
It's not a corpse in a bag. You caught some of its leather jerkin
Ooh.
and pulled it up, and it is a leathery, shrunken, mummy-like, but it's preserved by the bog.
Yeah.
I think is what I'm.
Bog people.
Bog people is what I'm saying to you here. Now, Kenred, do you want to collaborate with Gwilog on an insight, or do you want to get the insight rolling here?
No, I think me and Gwilog have got a good history coming up with some insights. Came from the past. What do you reckon, Gwilog?
Yeah.
Ancient times or something?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's centered on this, right? This kind of we could say. I wonder if we should put something about this kind of mummified, figure into our insight, right? That it's you know,
What if I told you there were some panpipes around its neck,
oh,
for instance?
yeah, so it's like, ancient music from, right.
Does this jerkin look sort of Romanesque at all?
I think that might be quite difficult to say. I think probably not. There's no sign of uniform about this.
Okay.
There is, though, a thong tied round its neck very tightly. Now, whether that's a function of the period it spent in the bog, I don't know.
So back to the revelation. So we've got mummified. We could go big and say mummified corpses in the bog, or small with something like, you know, mummified.
Mummified musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
More M's.
mummified musician to go with the musical metamorphosis. It's time to start capitalizing the M's. Mummified musician. You are at +1 on a roll for revelation at this point. Or do
Is
you
the
want to
music
keep
still
looking?
playing?
No.
Mhm.
Carrie puts their ear to the chest of this dead body.
It's dead. Unless you have something else in mind, Kerry.
No, I'm just listening to see if perhaps, you know,
Oh, is
some
the
echo
music coming?
remains.
Oh, I see.
Mhm,
Oh no,
mhm,
that's
mhm.
that's a lovely idea. No, I'm very happy for you to hear the distant echo of that pipe music gradually diminishing. I don't know if there's another insight in that, but I'm open to offers, Kerry.
Hmm. If I do make another insight, will that pop us into bleak? It will not. Uh,
I
uh,
think it might, because
it might.
you currently have that would so 2 insights take you to the top of dreary. So actually, mummified musician is going to nudge you into bleak.
All right, then I'll take Echoes of the Past.
Echoes of the past. Fine. Echoes of the past. Okay, so you could be rolling +2 right now, but having reached dreary and gone through dreary to bleak, threaten the heroes. A manifestation of the darkness strikes at the heroes, but might take an opportunity to. Okay, no, it's going to be simpler than that. Gwilog, Branwen goes to brush something off the back of your cloak, and then stands away. Branwen, there is a feather growing out of the back of Gwilog's neck.
Oh no.
A black feather.
Oh,
And then you look down at your hand and notice just a few scales.
looks like we caught it too.
Kerry, what do you do when you find, at the base of your spine, it feels like there's an itch?
I don't think they're particularly self-conscious. They reach down to itch at it and perhaps find a rabbity tail.
There is just the slightest kind of sense of some fur at the base of your spine. Yeah.
I think they sort of squawk and turn in place several times, trying to look at their own tailbone, which of course they can't. But worth a shot.
Henred, the hands that you dug down into that and dragged the body up with, they have a slight, you kind of wash them off, but it's like they're staying slightly slimy, maybe like the skin of a frog.
That's not right. That's unsanctioned by God. The old father does not authorize that.
Owls are fine, frogs are not.
Frogs are wrong. There is no holy frog.
Because and just a couple of patches on the back of your hands, with a slight kind of mottling, slight grey area with some little spots in it that are kind of slimy and they won't rub off.
This thing that we pulled from the bog is evil. I think now's a good time to roll for a revelation. We're at +2 before any more transformations occur.
What do we think? Or do you want to push for a +3?
I think
T, what are you
Branwen
thinking?
agrees with Kenridge.
Yeah, I
They've
think it's.
already had one transformation. They don't
Let's
need
roll
another
for
one.
it.
Picking and when you pick them away, Branwen, they kind of bleed, as much as your human seeming can bleed. Was that a kind of thumbs up from Kerry?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's roll.
What are you thinking, Gwilog?
Yeah, I think feeling that feather, seeing the others also kind of, Gulag says that the crow spoke truthfully, right? It is catching. Um, yeah, and we need to try to
While we
bring,
still have our faculties.
yes.
Yes, that's true, isn't it? Because what could happen next? Um, so, Kenred, I'm going to put you on the spot to roll the dice, but first of all, we have to make some connections between these insights. So, do you want to pick two of them and establish some fictional narrative thread between them?
It's all nice and tight, so this shouldn't be hard. I'm going to go with it started in the bog, and mummified musician.
Okay.
This definitely was the last resting place of the mummified musician.
Okay. Do you want to say anything about the nature, the source of the part played by this mummified musician? Is this an innocent party, or is, because the stake did talk about a musician coming to the village, didn't he?
Yeah. It's been here a long, long time. I think this could be the source of it. They must have
Okay.
angered it, uncovered it, done something to release it.
So the mummified musician is why it all started in the bog. That makes sense to me. In no particular order, Kerry T, do you want to build on those first two? So I'm putting a tick on it started in the bog and mummified musician. Do you want to push that on with a link to one of the others?
Yeah. I'll do sounds being thrown. I think that the mummified musician is not the source of the music, but a conduit for it.
Ah, right. A conduit. Oh, that's interesting. So it's not just being thrown, even when you got to the source, its origin was something or someone or somewhere else. Oh, very
Mhm,
nice,
mhm,
very
mhm.
nice. So that's that one. Um, what about Branwen? Do you want to connect that story through to Echoes of the Past or Musical Metamorphosis?
I think maybe something, well, either, as we said, an ancient plague or curse was somehow, um, how do you say this? I don't know, brought back up. I can't think today. Um, and
Dredged up?
sorry?
Dredged up?
Dredged up. Yes, thank you. Dredged up. Great. Um, and well, I guess, I was going to, well, I could connect that to musical metamorphosis, but that's not what we were trying to do, right? We were trying to do it with the other ones. And maybe, yeah, maybe this ancient whatever it is, curse or something, was manifesting as this musician who, seemed very much alive when when the villagers encountered him. But maybe it's just a, you know, mm,
So a literal echo of the past.
yeah.
Okay. Can you follow that through to conclusion, T, on Kerry's behalf to get to musical metamorphosis?
I think the obvious thing is that
Oh, sorry,
listening
no,
to
it's
this,
Gwilog. Sorry, you
yeah,
had to go. I've gone the wrong way
you're good.
around my screen. I apologize. Gwilog, Robbie, can you get
Yeah.
us to musical metamorphosis?
Yeah, I think that musical metamorphosis idea is I mean this is obviously not a normal music, but right the vibrations um are um they start as a sound, but those vibrations become something supernatural and kind of starts we would talk about like the vibrations causing some transformation at even the cellular level, but it's like the bodies that are kind of vibrating as a result of the sound, right? That right, there's something just about the whole structure of the body that is kind of getting transformed.
So it's not just music causing a metamorphosis, it's actually metamorphosing to an extent.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that. So then that would get us to roll +2. So if we look at I moved it over to common moves because I thought it was easier to find it there. Revelation. When the heroes agree, you've done that. Once it's in so does this coherent narrative identify who or what embodies the darkness besetting the settlement? Is it this body? Is it those pipes? Or is this the conduit from something or someone else? Even if you can't put a name to that.
I think as it went into the village, I think it is the body. It is definitely a conduit. It's not the pipes. The pipe's just a tool that it used.
Okay. So it's the echo of that body or the echo caused by that body. Is that what I'm hearing? Gwilog, what do you think of that to Kenrid's? What do you think to Kenrid's suggestion that it's the echo of the body that visited here?
I like that idea. And you know, I do think that there is something special about the pipes, but the pipes, you know, they're made out of plant material that would have been growing here as well, right? So that the body, right, is a kind of conduit, but right, I mean, getting kind of fused together with like the this kind of, and I think there's probably something special about those pipes as well that is also kind of rooted in this place, right? Literally, right? And kind of pulling up the past out of the muck, right? And kind of the pipes then helping, right, this body, you know, uh perform its conduit, right, role.
That's a good
So
question about the pipes. Wouldn't they have rotted if they were as old as the body?
now there's an interesting question, isn't it? Because it is the animal, the leather vest that this body was wearing that is preserved, and the leather thong that was round its neck.
Hmm.
But there wasn't much in the way of kind of plant material. It's if whatever trews or whatever else it was wearing, they've rotted away to a large extent. But the pipes seem to be in good condition relative to that. That's a fair point, Branwen.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's like you look at the pipes and you're thinking plants, but it looks like is it actually bone or like some type of petrification? I mean, I think it's like somewhere between bone and petrified plant material, and you're not really quite able
Ah,
to like when you look closely at it, you're not. It's from what we can tell, kind of indeterminate
Well,
look.
look, you've offered me an opening that I have to step into here. I mean, we have had a running kind of bones, cannibalism. I think careful examination of the pipe shows them to be hollowed out human bones. So, this is bad stuff. But are we any closer, even having messed with the tone a bit, are we any closer to identifying what it is you need to confront? And because that's the question, what do you think embodies the darkness? Is it the body? Is it the body plus the pipes?
I mean, I
You
think
know
if we
you're going to be right
destroy,
unless you're wrong.
I think if we destroy this body, we'll go a long way towards it not showing up again.
Okay, that sounds like a very straight line from Kerry. Um,
Yeah,
Time
I
for
was
some
with
Wicker
Brownwin
Man.
there. It's the bog itself.
Oh,
That's a
the
big
bog.
task, though. That's a lot
Drain
bigger
this.
task to deal with than one
Drain the
body.
swamp. No, I'm afraid that is too much like a campaign promise that
I
really did
know.
not did not go well.
Hence
So
why it was in quotation
yeah,
marks.
yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah.
yes,
But it's a nice idea. Um, what are you telling me, friends? I just need to know what or who is the focus of your attention.
Well, given that the body being exhumed or whatever uh, stopped the music, even if it's just a conduit, I guess maybe that's all we need to destroy because then there's no conduit. I don't know.
Okay, I go with this. So the focus of your revelation is the body and what it came out of the ground with. Yeah. Now, my questions then become when, and where will you confront them? Out here in the bog or back there in the village?
Currently, it's showing no animation. So I mean, we could drag it back, but I think it's a here now.
I just want you to remember that the ground here is unstable. If this turns nasty, I don't want you to forget that you are in the middle of a very unstable, stenchy bog. Now, I'm very happy for you to confront it here. No problem. But I just want you to remember where you are.
We're gonna have to roll to get it back.
You are.
So either we confront it here or we roll to get it back, and that ticker is ticking up. So
Yeah, you wouldn't want me to hit bleak again, would you?
no, so I'd say let's whack it here and whack it good.
Okay. So now and here, that's the when and the where. Which NPCs will be present? Now, all we have is the snake, the crow, and the rabbit. They are our kind of signature NPCs here. Which one of those, if you don't nominate one, I will, but you can nominate any one of the three, each, so there could be NPCs present.
I'd say the crow.
The crow has to
Also
come
because
out
it flies.
and perch on something over there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and also because we've had this bird motif,
Has
right,
run all the
carrying
way through.
that it would only be appropriate for
Yeah.
the crow to be.
And there's got to be an owl in that tree over there, isn't it? Kind of watching. It would be difficult. I mean, the rabbit is one of those very rare and now extinct northern British swamp rabbits. So I'm very happy for there to be a rabbit present if that is what Kerry would like.
I think Carrie's preference would be for small edible animals that she feels some sort of kinship towards to be farther rather than closer.
Okay. Yeah. We're not risking the chicken escapade again.
No,
And
no.
Robbie, you have to look at the recording to find out the chicken problem. So no rabbit. We've got the crow. Branwen, do you want the snake?
I'm not sure. How would they even make it over there?
Well, I think, water.
I mean, yeah, sure, but also it did try to attack me, so
Yeah, fair enough. It was rather too interesting you, wasn't it? Yeah, okay. So it's just the crow perched, watching as it does, or that. Okay. What you fear will be the fate of the settlement and perhaps yourselves if you fail.
They will stay as animals.
And
We will join them.
yes, I think that's pretty high stakes, friends. So with none of that riding on your shoulders, Kenred, would you like to roll 2 dice plus 2?
I will. Let's hope it's better than last week. Oh, a 2 and a 6 plus 2 gives us 10.
He's at 10. 7 plus, the heroes have correctly identified the nature of the darkness. 10 plus, the scene opens exactly as the heroes framed it, but each hero also described how they begin the scene at advantage. So before I manifest the darkness in whatever form I choose to take, Kerry, how are you going to, what means, why are you going to start at advantage?
Well, Carrie was listening to the body, has heard this receding echo of sound, and then just stands up and begins wailing at it with her stick like a piñata, just going to
Okay.
town.
Okay. So you're just gonna go for it. Okay.
No
Uh,
hesitation.
no hesitation at all. Branwen, how do you come to be at advantage at this point?
This is a good question. Um, I think maybe the advantage comes more from the fact that they were dead already once, and well, this dead body doesn't have anything over them. Um,
So it's
and
almost just pure confidence.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
I can't
Okay.
think of something else right now.
Kenrid, what
Higher
circumstances?
ground, always handy in a bog, and that tree where that crow is looks pretty goddamn good.
So you are standing on the roots of that tree.
Yep.
So backing off a little way to find some solid ground. And finally, Gwilog. Why are you our advantage as this? As I'm
Well,
about to describe?
I have the crow is there, and I've started a transformation into a crow. So I think that crow is going to be able to give me some, an extra set of eyes that can communicate with me during this encounter.
Okay, so it's the lucky crow. It's the spotter. Okay. Um, Now before we open on this, I think I'm going to call us a break. Because it seems like then we would have a climactic scene after our break. So it is currently not quite 10 to. Shall we seat back in our seats at 5 to the hour?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
See you then. So Kenred has backed off a little bit towards the tree roots, which are a bit more solid. Gwilog is looking to the crow for reassurance that all is well. And the crow is about to squawk and go like that at the body. Branwen is confidently standing near the body, and Kerry is just angry at the body, I think, at this point. Um, and as Kerry raises her stick to kind of beat at this, it moves. I will tell you that it is, for a body that's been dead a long time, it is surprisingly agile. So its first defense is agility. And it's about to spring upright as Kerry goes to whack it. I will also tell you that it is emitting a stench, which almost kind of creates an exclusion zone around it. And I think that's probably all you can see of its defenses as we open. So, Kerry, you have advantage. I think it's steal to whack this to try and hinder its agility. So
Yeah.
you are going to confront it, unless you want to have a go at the stench. I'm not sure how to do that, but I'm open to options.
Yeah. I don't think Carrie does either. I think as it sounds like it's perhaps preparing to leap to its feet, and
Yes.
Carrie decides that that will be much more challenging if those feet are pulp. Well, it's very dry, so I don't know, tenderized at least, and is going to whack at them.
Okay, so let's have you roll. I think that is steal to react quickly to the situation and hit it.
Mhm.
So roll plus steal with advantage to
And
confront.
that is 7.
A 7 on 7 plus. That defense is erased. So happily, it is no longer particularly agile. But they pick one.
Mhm.
They use a power. Yes. I think that as they stumble, it's as though they reach out into this kind of low-lying fetid mist hanging over the bog and scoops it up and wields it against you. And I think what I need you to do, I've lost it. Wield. There it is. Burst of flame, blah, 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 blah. Harm as established is 3.
Whew.
It hits you like a rock. It goes solid almost as it comes towards you. So mark 3 harm.
Goodness.
Dun dun dun. Branwen, you are on hand. You could either try to protect Kerry from that, face the challenge of protecting her, or you could act on your own behalf. What do you want to do?
Or
You are muted.
Sorry. I'm trying to think how I could try and protect Branford from this, because I'm not the most physical fighter.
Well, you could just throw yourself in the way.
I guess what I could do, I don't know if that'll be a bit too much, but I'm just going to suggest it anyway. I could try and push Carrie to the side, thereby
I thought you were going to
taking...
say possess Carrie.
No, thereby taking their place and also go translucent and to try to avoid harm.
Okay, so barge her out of the way. So face the challenge of protecting her, but then hopefully use translucency to reduce the potential harm to you.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So let's have you roll with steel to interpose yourself.
Fun.
And save Kerry this harm.
Steels is my worst one.
Damn.
Yep. It's a 4.
Oh, dearie me.
Well.
Okay. So on a 4, face a challenge. On a 4, mark shade. Oh, ho, ho. Right. So I will mark some shade, which fills the bleak track. More feathers are beginning to sprout around your ears, Gwilog. Kenred, that slightly slimy skin is beginning to make its way up your forearms. Branwen, that your surface is getting more scaly. And Kerry, as you're pushed out of the way, maybe you land on your increasingly obvious tail. So all of that happens, but you failed. Expect the worst now or later. I think you successfully barge Kerry out of the way, so Kerry takes no harm. But Kerry, you fall out of the fight, so you're going to be, splashing about in the bog for an action or so. Whereas Branwen, you take those 3 points of harm that were coming her way.
But can I still deliberately...
You can still go try your translucency. When you deliberately weaken your seeming to allow a blow to pass through your body, roll plus favor.
Yeah, I will try that. Let's hope this time it works out better. It's plus favor, did you say?
Yep.
All right. Yes, that is a 10.
Wow, look at that. On a 10, on 7+, it would have been mark 1 less harm. On 10+, ignore all harm. We've not seen you go translucent before, so we have to have a visual representation of this on screen. So it scoops up this fetid mass and hurls it at you as it begins to go solid in midair. How does translucency save you?
I mean, just like I guess maybe just at the same time as this begins to become solid, my seeming becomes more and more I don't know, flickery, and then it just disappears completely, which before I think people could still see me in my ghostly apparition or whatever, but this time it just went completely disappeared, and the rock just goes through nothing.
Splashes in the bog behind you. And then you go back solid. Such control. Gwilog. No, I'm going to come to Kenrid first because Kenrid, you are in a safer position away from this, so maybe you got a chance to react to what has happened before I go back to Gwilog.
I'm going to light an arrow and fire it at it and try and burn off this stink.
Oh, what a clever idea! Oh wow, yeah. So missile weapons is roll plus sense. Remember that you have advantage. You're on solid ground.
I didn't roll on.
You
Did I have
didn't.
that?
You didn't. I
Well,
owe you
Uh,
one.
that's a 6 and a 4 plus 2, 12.
12. That is enough. So where are we? Common moves. I'll come back to try and correct that in a moment, Branwen. So confront them on a 7 plus. That stench, the flaming arrow kind of thuds into them, and there's a kind of as that methane sulfur stink erupts away from them. Just as well that Kerry was thrown away from them and Branwen went translucent for a moment, lest they be caught in the backdraft. 7 plus the defense is raised, but they pick 1. Yeah, they pick a power. They have the power of resilience, which means that their agility comes back before their very eyes, Kerry. You see, because you're down there looking at those broken ankles that you inflicted on it click upright. Gwilog.
But,
But stench is gone and you roll 10 plus.
no, on top of that,
Go on.
while their legs have knitted back together, they haven't knitted back together very well. They are at disadvantage.
Fine. That's your 10 plus. Fine. So it is currently disadvantaged, Gwilog. What do you want to do?
I think so first of all, I think Willog would like to become enraged.
Fine.
I mean, because partly this is so close to home, right? Being in the bog and seeing this type of horror kind of coming out. I mean, and Gwilog's kind of wondering if this had anything to do with the dissolution of their tribe, like if something like this
Yeah.
was.
If you hadn't all wandered away, then might this have been... Ooh, yes.
Yeah, so that would be the rage with which would give me a favor. And
And what are you going to do with that?
I think I'm gonna do the ire of the gods. When you call on
Okay.
the power of your gods to confront them, say what form their power takes and roll plus favor.
Fine. Um, so yeah. So actually, this is just roll plus favor to confront them. Because I guess you're trying to break those ankles again.
Yeah, I think I'm maybe the crow, right, kind of notes that this is a time to directly confront them because, right, they're not coming together quite properly.
Fine. So roll plus favor to confront them. What form does does the power of your gods take?
I think it takes the form like my garb has all of these kinds of sprigs of herbs and stuff, and I think that they're kind of turning into incense now. And right, that's kind of the stench had already been dealt with, but right now, right, I'm being kind of surrounded, by this kind of smoke and this kind of incense that is kind of giving me, an added boost to confront them.
I like that. So this is roll with favor to kind of confuse them either by putting smoke in their way. You're aiming to get rid of that agility again.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I get advantage.
You have advantage because they are disadvantaged. Yes.
Okay.
You had advantage anyway.
Yeah.
We'll all
Oh, you
did.
started with advantage. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But I think probably these both add up to the same thing. You've involved the crow. So three dice. Pick your
Okay.
top two.
6 and a 4, and +1, so that gives me an 11.
As if that mattered a lot. So on a 10 plus, you successfully get rid of agility again. It's confused by the scents. They're oppressively pleasant. And on a 7 plus, erase, but they pick one. Is there anything it wants to do? Oh yes, I wanted to use its acid tongue. Uh, and through this it coughing, and it says, "You will not defeat me again, mortals." The voice is kind of familiar. And bits, it's almost like that leathery skin is beginning to flow away from it. But you have successfully got rid of agility again. Um, but I need you, Gwilog, to roll to face the challenge of just keeping your wits about you when it sounds like a nemesis has reappeared.
And what am I rolling with?
You're rolling, I think this is probably, I'll give you a choice. It's either steel for your physical grit. In fact, given that you are currently enraged, I think it ought to be steel.
Okay. hmm So that's a 1. Ooh, it's a 6.
Ah, okay. So you are going to be at disadvantage when you take action against it because that's kind of shocked you a bit. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Kerry, you've clambered to your feet, having been knocked over and out of harm's way by Branwen. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm imagining they were hit back into the water and are sort of sloshing around, and it's quite far away. And so I think the thing that makes most sense to them, because they can see there's this confrontation between Gwilog and this fell entity, is to start shouting gibberish. And describe some item in the scene that offers a clue about your life before you are touched. Um, and I think something about sickness, contagion, plague suddenly feels uncomfortably familiar to Carrie, and almost to sort of squash that thought before it can go any further. He starts screaming.
Fine, speaking in
So,
tongues.
yeah,
So this is to create an advantage for someone else to exploit rather than to confront it directly, I think.
correct, yes.
So do your thing. Roll plus favor. Uh,
And that is uh,
oh,
11 plus 2, 13. Oh no,
13.
Cena.
Yeah, we've lost Zena. She was having some internet little twitches earlier on. She said in the chat, so hopefully she'll be back in a moment. But on 10 plus, say who or what's attention you attract. Well, I think we know whose attention you
Yes,
want to attract.
yes.
Yeah. And they are at disadvantage. There is no downside to that on a 10 plus. So no mixed success, straightforward. They are at disadvantage. Kenred, I'll just keep an eye up there to see if Xena can rejoin. I've been surprised how unstable German internets can be. I'm used to it, praising their engineering. But Kenred, more of this stuff is flaking away. It's almost like it's drying and crumbling away off the surface of this figure. What do you want to do?
Uh,
It is
well, what
reaching for
it's
the panpipes.
uh, I want to try and shoot those panpipes out of its hand. I mean, can I use there is, I mean, I've got that theft move.
You have. That's worth a lot.
Yeah.
So so you don't want to confront it, but you want to try and get rid of those panpipes.
Because 7+, they are deprived of it.
Yes.
So that's what I want to achieve. Have we still got an advantage, or are they disadvantaged?
They are currently disadvantaged
Well,
by Kerry's distract. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Xena's coming back. We'll pause a moment.
I do like it. So that gives me an advantage if I use their disadvantage.
Exactly.
Okay, let's try and get those panpipes out of their hands.
Xena, good to have you back. Nothing much has changed apart from the fact that I wasn't certain where you exactly cut out then, but Kerry has started spouting gibberish. This has attracted the body that is beginning to look less like a body and more like something that's alive as that crusty leathery layer begins to flake away from it. And Kenred, it's reaching for the panpipes, and Kenred is about to try and shoot those panpipes out of its hands.
I've rolled, and I'm rolling plus sense. So I have a sense of 2. I have rolled a 2, a 6, and a 4. So the 6 and 4 picks up 10 plus 2, 12. It is mine, I think, is the
yours
actual
for the
line it says
taking.
there.
It is yours for the taking.
Can I put it at the feet of Gwilog? I mean, clearly it's mine for the taking, but I shot it out, so
yes. So yeah, it's they don't even have a chance to get it without taking it from you or somebody else. So you should maybe you shoot and it goes, it doesn't get carried past them. It bounces over in that direction. It's your choice. So it's yours for the taking. You can retrieve it and toss it to Gwilog if that's what you desire. Yeah.
yeah.
So gibberish has passed. The spell of gibberish has ended. Xena, that was unique weapon removed from it. It is still it is what's the word I'm looking for? There's a phrase, I've forgotten what I'd used. It is a phrase called frenzied rage. Oh no, sorry, it's not that. Stubborn rage. It is its last defense. It is very angry, and that anger is aimed at you four. It clearly has some kind of grudge against you four.
Quick question. We didn't resolve the not using advantage with my last move, right?
I'm going to give you advantage.
Or should I just use it on the next?
You can have that advantage whenever you want it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because backtracking would be a bit complicated. Yeah. Do I recognize the voice?
Oh, let's have you look about you then. Roll plus sense.
Is that roll plus sense? Okay.
You can have that advantage now if you like.
I'm not sure if that is a good use of my advantage.
Just asking.
Yeah, no. Let me. I mean, in fairness, -6 is still giving you shade, but still, let's do it. Let's use it for a more, I don't know, momentous roll, I guess. Lucky me, it is a 9 together with my sense.
9, okay. On a 9, I can tell you it does ring a bell. We flash back to standing among bones, human bones, in a tunnel, a cavern, with a hulking brute above the village of Gundholm, and a fey saying, "You will pay for this, mortals." It's the puppet master at Gundholm who you drove off. It is him.
Anybody here in the party want to remind me how we drove him off?
I think Gwillo got very lucky with a banish. Is my recollection.
Yes.
A 10 plus on banish. But he's here, he's stubborn. It's going to take more than that to get rid of him this time.
It does say that the fates reveal a threat's weakness or confirms they have none. It doesn't seem to be an either or.
I will tell you that you know, Branwen, that Fae, you believe him to be a Fae, are susceptible to bronze.
Bronze. Mm. All right.
So while you cogitate on that,
Yes.
I will come back round to Gwilog. Kenred scoops up these panpipes and tosses them to you, Gwilog. Clearly, he thinks you're going to do something useful with them. What do you do with them, Gwilog?
Well, yeah, I think now that they're in my possession, I think I'm going to play them, but turn them against this monster.
You're going to
Use
attack
its
his
own what?
stubbornness with music.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, so I think it's probably sense to be able to play panpipes when we've never heard you show any musical interest in the past. So roll plus sense.
Okay. Now, and I had disadvantage, but he also has disadvantage.
Yes. So
So
you that cancels. It's
okay,
it's the flat two dice.
okay. Uh, 5 plus 2 is 7.
Wow, that was a close run thing. Okay, so on a 7+, their stubbornness evaporates in kind of, you have my pipes. What will they do?
I also imagine that the crow was trying to use its own cawing to further my musical ability.
It would be a real anticlimax if they took them back. Do I have a power? Oh, yes, I do have a power left. It will use its unearthly control power. Um, Suddenly it looks at you. You are focusing the music at it, Gwilog. Its eyes become deep, dark pools, drawing you in. Would you face the challenge? I think it's either grit steel or maintaining your rational belief that you can escape this, or you will be at disadvantage.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and
Rage,
given the rage, I think steel makes the most sense. Yeah.
yeah. How do
Okay.
we know that this is a rage-filled resistance?
Um, I mean, um, I think Gwilog stops playing the pipes for a second, and you see Gwilog's face kind of contort in this kind of enragement, and then he yells, right? And it does have a kind of crow sound to it, right? As he's yelling, and trying to resist, right? Those uh deep deep eyes that are glaring at him. All right. So this is with steel. As I attempt this is going to be a +1. That's an 8.
So, on an 8 to face the challenge, you successfully avoid the ongoing disadvantage as he seeks to command you not to interfere. Um, but on a simple, I think it's going to cost you a harm.
Mhm.
Just that the strain of that is going to cost you a harm. But all his defenses are now out of the picture. Um, Kerry, are you have you scrabbled closer, or are you still out there up to your knees in mucky water?
Uh, I think he's been can holler and sort of schlorp at the same time. Um, but I will say, uh, if someone else thinks that it makes more sense for them to be the one to humble this creature, I am okay passing the baton on this one. And we'll say that Carrie was perhaps deeper in the water than we realized.
I was just
I suppose,
thinking,
yeah, go on.
sorry,
Go on, Branwen.
I was just thinking, I do have a melted talk.
You do have a melted
Hmm.
talk, don't you?
And who's to say it's not bronze?
Who's to say it's not bronze? Indeed so. So you could confront, you could, and I think you are just about the nearest person, to be honest, because you've never been knocked back or anything else. So I think you're pretty close.
Just hovering about.
So you could take that talk and whack it. I'm very happy for it to be a bronze talk.
Mhm.
Uh,
But I'm going to assume there's no stacking of advantages, is there?
Afraid not. No.
Well, I guess I'm not using an advantage. Then I'm just using the advantage of the melted talk. And I'm
Fine.
keeping the other one in case this goes wrong.
Good plan. Good
Okay, so
plan.
yeah, I think as we established, this is like a misshapen, molten thing. But I think, it will probably have some not sharp, but harder edges at
Oh gosh,
least.
yeah, it's an
And
effective bludgeon, if nothing else.
yeah, and I think Branwen will try and aim for the eyes.
Yeah, maybe the talk has got too, and you've got to jam it at him. Okay, so let's have
Yeah.
you humble them with
Mhm.
advantage for exploiting his weakness. So roll to humble them with steel, I think, but with advantage.
Okay. 10 minus 1 is a 9.
A 9, so close. Is there anyone close enough to help? Or do you want to take the risk of helping?
What does I'm owed a favor by a Fey crown? What,
Ooh.
what does that do?
Well, you could call in a favor. It allows you to use convince them on a supernatural if they owe you a debt.
Yeah, I'd like them to empower this talk with their
Okay.
power. So
Okay.
it's
We've got to
nasty.
have some kind of
Wait,
outtake here, haven't we? As Cena is driving this towards you, everything goes still. Drops of water, where Kerry is making their way out of the bog, kicking up water. The water begins to slow and stop. Time freezes. What identifies this crown with a season or an emotion?
I think what identifies it's the season of winter, and I think um, the talk is going to sort of get icicles.
I want you to tell me what identifies the Fey crown when they appear in this scene,
Oh,
so you
the
can claim
whole
your
area,
debt.
the whole area frosts over, ice over as they manifest, and everybody else slows down.
And do they have an appearance of a male, a female, or are they hooded and we don't know?
I think they're hooded and we don't know.
Okay. And from out of the hood comes this whisper, "What do you desire, mortal?"
One less crown for you to compete with.
Roll plus subtle to convince them.
One and a 6, 7, 8.
8. On a 7 plus, they agree, but they pick one. They say what they expect of you now or later. I will do this for you, mortal. But this one, pointing at the frozen fae, This one is no crown. It is the servant of a crown. I will help you, but I will call on you in the future to aid
Fair.
me. And then those icicles begin to form on the end of that talk, turning it into a weapon.
A +1
A plus one.
Vorpal talk.
A Vorpal talk. I cannot remember the last time I said the word Vorpal. Yes, handle them with advantage, Branwen. Oh, no, that was a help, wasn't it?
It was
That
a
was
help.
a help. So, yeah, you get that help. It improves that mixed success to a full success. On 7+, they're at your mercy. Do you spare them so their faction owes you a debt, or end them? Kenred might
No.
have a view on this.
Well,
What do you want?
I have a
Branwen?
feeling that Kenrid also doesn't want to spare them the amount of fury that they had for us. I don't
We
think
are
there's any
speaking
point.
the same language here.
So you want to end them, yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me how you do it.
Yeah, I think I will just drive this talk, this icicled talk, into both of their eyes. And I think that will just, the combination of another phase power with the bronze will just, I guess, maybe almost like, yeah, it will have an effect as if I had just poured very strong acid into the wounds that I've just inflicted.
Wow.
And it'll just
So-
eat away at, sorry.
So he just begins to dissolve, literally dissolve.
Yeah.
Screaming, no, no, not the final dare. Yeah.
Sure.
10+. Say what? Well, give you all what you take from them or their remains. Xena, Branwen, what
There's
is
nothing
it?
much to take, is there?
Well, a charm or trophy that grants advantage once if you describe its relevance to some future action.
Sure, I just don't know what it is because they only had those leathery things on and the pipes are already spoken for. So
Well, I mean, or the talk again. Yeah. I mean, what's
just
to say?
take back the talk.
Take
Sure.
back the talk. You never know when you need a bronze talk again. Recharge it. Yes, we must take it to a temple where it can be recharged. So
Never have enough talk.
oh, boom, boom. So yes, you have seen off this Fey. You have destroyed this Fey, not just driven him off. And the crow lands next to Gwilog, and as it lands, it transforms into a young woman. And those feathers just brush away Gwilog, as do the scales on Branwen's hands. And Kerry, there's that tingling feeling at the base of the spine. A quick inspection suggests that there is no longer anything there. And Kenred, pulling up his arms desperately, there is no sign of that frog skin. You have successfully cleared the darkness from over Cefnwahl. I'm inclined to say we won't do an aftermath here because people are going to recover. I am more interested in an epilogue related to, because this is our finale. So I'd rather spend some time giving you a chance to talk about what happens next to these characters or your character. Now, there is on the campaign move a thing called Your Weird is Woven. When you walk out of history and into myth, roll plus favor to determine what tales are told of you. Now, that is intended as a voluntary aid, not as a compulsory move. But I'm very happy for you to roll for favor or to choose from there. On a 10+, tales describe you as a legendary hero. On a 6-, they describe you as a tragic hero. On a 7 to 9, somewhere in between. And there is some question attached to each of those. Now, they are there as a resource, not as a compulsory move. But I am interested to know what history and myth will say of these 4 characters. Is there anyone who wants to kick off? Kenred.
Yes. My arc is discover who or what you must save from death as you were saved. I think it's this naked woman that's appeared in front of us. So I will take my cloak off, and covering the cloak. And yeah, maybe in the future I'm in this village. Do I stay with her, or does adventure get the better of me, and I leave her? So I think there we got sort of 2 good extremes of roles.
I like that. I like that. Those arcs, they're meant to be kind of RP hooks as much as anything else. So at the top of your character sheet, you might want to refer to them. The Loon, discover who or what took your memories of the time before. The Reform, done that one. The Milk, discover who or what was the key to the return of the reverence for the old gods. I don't know. They are there as RP hooks. We've got Kenred potentially settling down here with this young woman. Who wants to go next? Gwilog?
Well, yeah, I think Gwilog is hoping that maybe in the aftermath of this that there would be some insight into what has happened to Gwilog's tribe that kind of got dispersed. And so and and I'm imagining that it's I mean, the crow has turned into a human. When we go back to the village, I think we're probably seeing other,
Yeah.
people coming out of the swamp, and Gwilog will be in there, kind of helping them, but also obviously seeking out some knowledge as to what has happened to his tribe.
And almost certainly we'll have a scene where somebody is saying, "Oh, I did hear," and points.
Mhm.
Yeah. What about Branwen?
Mm, so my arc is about discovering who can grant me what is it called? The key to the afterlife, passage to the afterlife.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the tab again.
It's on the Heroes tab.
Oh, it also is there. Okay.
Yeah. Discover who or what can offer you the key to your afterlife.
But also, I only rolled a 7, and I do like the sort of mixed
Go
thing.
on. Go
So
on.
maybe, uh, I think maybe having seen, having heard these last words of the Fae, right, the final death, they get this idea in their head that maybe a Fae could help grant them, you know, a final death. Um, but I'm not sure they are able to just so easily find one that would just do that for no good reason. Or maybe they do at some point, and it turns out, nope, that just worked on the other Fae, but not on you. And so I think they are still quite obsessed with trying to find something else that will help them finally rest.
Maybe some
Um,
montage of seeking the various Fey crowns.
yeah, and then maybe, being in different countries,
Yeah.
trying to find, yeah, and over time, I think they will certainly shed the seeming of a Christian, because I think they were donning that as a.
A convenience.
No, I mean, to be honest, my thought was more that they had, how do you say that, converted to Christianity. And then when they were resurrected, it turns out that was not the God that resurrected them. They were like, oh, I got it wrong in the end, didn't I? So,
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe seeking out the Fae as servants of the old gods. And I think, we'll have that little sequence of spring blossoms falling, um, then, bright summer cornfields, uh, then, autumn, lots of bright autumnal colors, and finally trekking up a glacier. And we see the same Fey crown that we've already seen in this episode appears, and you pitch the question, and they say, perhaps.
What are you willing to do for it?
That's the
Yeah.
that's the question. And Kerry, what about Kerry? What do we see or hear of Kerry in the legends and myths?
Yeah. So I think Carrie, uh, I think who took Carrie's memory was their patron, the Christ God, as an act of mercy. Because I think the thing that they are not remembering is that when plague came to her village, I think her own brother accused Carrie of being the cause of it
Mhm.
For his mystic visions, and they were run out and wandered the forests, and then their first memory of seeing that dove was also the end of their other memories. And I did roll, and I got a mixed success. And I think at some point in the future, right? I think Carrie has this sort of foolish, sort of divinely protected quality as they kind of bumble around from adventure to adventure. And I think at some point, their brother's children find her, and she is forced to remember these memories she does not want in order to assist them with the darkness that has come to her village. I
Wow.
think he ends his days as a Christian hermit, but does have a very fine dovecoat.
Oh, very poignant for us to end.
Mm.
Um, uh, I want to tinker with some of that because I
Tinker
want
away.
I want Black Kenred to have a visit from a certain Fey crown saying, um, I need something done, and I need you to round up the people who will do it. And then we'll come back and run a series of one final job. But yeah, no, that works very nicely for me. I'd quite like a quick round of stars and wishes. I will, with your permission, email you a brief questionnaire just to get some sense of some feedback on that, because this is the most current version of the game. Um, and anything you've got to offer will be very welcome. But in terms of today, the series, Stars and Wishes, Roses and Thorns, whatever you fancy. Robbie, can I start with you?
Yeah, this was a great final session, and thanks to everybody for you know uh, your contributions, and also for getting me up to speed with the having missed that one session. I think it was pretty smooth for me. This was really nicely done. Kind of compact and focused. We got through right one setting, taking it to its climax. I loved the Xena, your use of the torque at the end to kind of address the issue of needing something of bronze, and then Paul, you coming in with the idea of supercharging it with the the Fey kind of glamour that was put onto that. Yeah, it was a very nice. Yeah, very, very nice and dramatic session. And I would also say that I was maybe a star to the dice, because I kept on thinking, oh, we're gonna just like get into a section where it's gonna become a quagmire of low rolls, but that never transpired. I think the dice were kind to us this session.
Yeah, well, you were lucky you weren't here
You
last
missed the
time.
last
Trust me.
one,
You
yeah.
were, yeah. Last time, the first time I've ever run a game where things went so badly that a revelation was forced on them
Yeah.
when circumstances were not at its best. But no, thank you for that. Any thorns? Any comments?
No, no, I think the system, I mean, th this has changed quite a bit since when I played it probably a couple of years ago. But it's a really uh I love the system. I mean, it really has a lot of good forward momentum, and I like, the kind of way that it calls for the players to kind of contribute to the setting and to the nature of the danger. And I think I also will throw out a final star to the always poetic Loon, and I really throughout the sessions have loved those two word poems that we've been getting from from our Loon.
Yeah, I don't think any of us would not want to make that point. Paul, any stars, any wishes?
Yeah, another good session. Really enjoyed it. Nice individual characters, but working as a group, which I always like to see. I really liked the flavour that's put on the sort of the rabbit, the swamp rabbit, which I never knew existed. So thanks, thanks for that, T. Um, and the use of the translucency. I think we got more and more Xena of Branwyn and Robbie. Gwilog, this is your home thing, and I think you really lent into it, and the good interplay with the nose bags, and then it was some of your herbs were added to it. Really good tight team play, but a lot of individuality out there. So good.
There's a minor league hockey team from South Carolina that's called the Swamp Rabbits. Well, as Paul pointed out at the start, because we have drained most of our swamp in this country, sadly, the swamp rabbits of 600 AD have died out. It's a tragic loss. Xena, any stars, any wishes?
Yeah, I guess I could just basically mirror what most people or what everyone has said. I had a really good time. This was a really action-packed session with masterful timing once again, I would say. Um, yeah, and just the sheer absurdity of that image of the snake with these feet at the end. I don't know. I mean, had it not been attacking my character, I would have I was briefly about to chuckle because I had a very sort of comical image in my mind. I just enjoyed that. And Kenred's very quick thinking twice with I don't know, what was it? Yes, the fire arrow and the well, obviously the Fae. That was just really good to like play. I don't know. Yeah, I guess to just teamwork, etc. And I really enjoyed that. And
Any thorns, any
yeah,
wishes?
wishes. I don't, to be honest, I would just like to continue playing this. So that's, I guess, a compliment to you. I think, yeah, the only thing, and I mean, this is my first time playing this, right? I do really like it. I think it's got a really good, how do you say that? Mm, I don't know, just good system that provokes a lot of interesting role play, and the moves are very, interesting and, unique. Um, Maybe the only thing is just well, as somebody who's never done it before, sometimes they can be quite like long and sort of
Mm.
difficult to pass, I think.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's my
Um,
greatest weakness. I do love a long move.
yeah, and I find that, yeah, it's just, but on the other hand, I feel like it was easy enough to pick up after a moment or two. Yeah.
No, I take that point. There needs to be a way to break it up on the page to make it chunkier somehow. I don't quite know how, but I do hear you. T, any stars, any wishes?
Yeah, I think this was a really fun session. I think people have hit most of my particular high points. I think that last combat was we feel like we were all really getting into the flow of the system. I did enjoy that Black Senred stole yet another cursed object, really leaning into that as a motif. I also really enjoyed Gwilog's anger again, and we got to see that in the little detail of the incense. And I think the sort of very much the climax was Branwen remembering the torque and getting that little detail about bronze, and then Black Henred calling in the favor, and I think that worked together really well to pay off those dominoes that had been set up earlier, which I really enjoyed. Um, I really like the system. I do think it got I feel like I got the flavor of sort of Dark Ages England. So I am very delighted that it was captured so well.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Uh, the
Any
one
wishes?
thing,
Yeah, go on.
yeah. Well, I mean, I know you were just talking about moves being already pretty long, but the one thing I think I would have liked to be tugged on a little bit more is in-group, out-group, right? Because I think it's when you are sharing a fire with someone, right? You might create um, you know, a bond with a new god, but thinking about like this is a complex linguistic situation, which is clearly reflected in the names. But maybe if you're from the group or you share faith, you get some sort of mechanical advantage for dealing with people who are in that same group, or maybe even in setup, right? If you're from that group, you get two details or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because I
that's a
never
nice
really
idea.
felt like Carrie was right. So like Gwilog was an insider to the community that we were coming to, kind of. And I didn't feel like that. I mean, also we did some construction without him, but I feel like that would be
Yeah, no, I like that
yeah,
idea. There needs
could
to
be
be
cool.
there needs to be something because the loon is the outsider
Hmm,
in the
hmm.
in in the sense that we don't quite know exactly what your backgrounds are. But yeah, I think there is something about um, if you have something
That just reminded me of one other
in
thing,
common. Yeah, go on, Zena.
I guess, but that's also more of a, yeah, it's not really nitpicking, more of a, oh, it would be even cooler if, um, if the system, I guess, maybe did more, you know, did something to more actively prompt, um, leaning into the character arc, like
Yes.
or development, right? Whether that's
Mm,
like
mm,
whether that's different downtime scenes or something that, grant an advantage or whatever,
yeah.
or help with healing or something, that could
Or
just,
generate XP.
yeah, or that, any of those, that could be. I mean, that obviously makes downtime even longer if you, but but it would be interesting
No, it
for
would. It
certainly for
would.
campaign play.
Yeah, and I think that's what I've been thinking about is whether those arcs are worth, do they earn their salt in the game?
I sent
And
you a long email on it.
yeah, because you mentioned it last time, and it set me thinking about it. And I've written a question myself is, you know, it was intended to give people a longer term kind of target flag outcome. But is it needed other than, maybe it's just offering people a set of two or three questions at the start of play that says, what are the things you want to find out about yourself? I don't know.
Mhm.
It at the moment, there is an advancement, an improvement, which is resolve your arc. But I think it would take so long to get there that I'm not sure we'd ever get the mechanical payoff on it. So yeah, I'm thinking hard about that, and I wondered if that was what was in your emails, Paul. Yeah, brilliant. Um, my stars and wishes. I'd love to carry on playing with you lot. Sadly, the calendar is a merciless mistress, and so maybe we'll come back to this. But my stars would be, these were really flavorful characters. I really liked these. This was a really tight group, and you began to operate as a troop in the sense of troop play. The as you say, the talk, which had anyone else remember the talk? I'd forgotten about the talk. Had anyone else remembered that the Fey Crown owed Kindred a debt? I don't remember that. So yeah, all of that was brilliant. So thank you. Is it okay if I post this video?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much. Then I will wave goodbye to the internet and stop the recording.